Aaron Glenn has revealed the truth on the New York Jets and the roster that he had a large part in constructing and restructuring in regards to some of the guys who have been here, and just the fact that the New York Jets now look much different and have a much different energy and vibe to them entering this season after last season's fiasco of a year. And we are going to break all this down and talk about why this should get Jets fans pretty excited. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, if you are part of that 69% that's not subscribed to New York Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel out a ton, and we're on that grind. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over. As New York Jets head coach Aaron Glenn, he's spoken out on the Jets lineup in regards, and just the whole roster in general, in regards to where they're at right now in training camp, the OTAs, and outside of that, just what they did in free agency. Now, we know Aaron Glenn had his fingerprints all over this. Yes, it's Darren Mougey who's the one making the moves and all that, but Aaron Glenn does have an impact on who Mougey's going to sign. The two have been very open about how they're working closely together on this, and Glenn is going to be one of those head coaches that has a big say in who the guys are that he will be coaching on this team in regards to who's on the roster. Glenn has a ton of control. Remember, he was hired before Darren Mougey, so he was not brought in by Mougey. The two like each other and they get along, but if anything, Mougey got brought in because Aaron Glenn was one of the people to give the thumbs up on him. So Glenn, when he was brought in, it was made evidently clear that he was going to have a huge role with this team, and it's already clear that he is. And Matt, he was asked about how the Jets have a very young roster, and he said, listen, do we want younger players? Absolutely. It's a young man's game. It's a young man's game, but we want players that can help us win. So if those players happen to be over 30 years old, we get those players. It just so happened that we got younger while we got players that could help us win. I mean, look, there's been a lot of discussion surrounding this quote and just Aaron Glenn, who's been a very positive guy for this New York Jets team. He said all the right things repeatedly, and there are fans, and I don't think they're wrong at all to say this, but there are fans that truly just are like, I'm sick of hearing the new coach mumbo jumbo of it's going to be different now. It's been 15 years since the Jets have been in the playoffs. A lot of people have stopped caring about this stuff. I think it's good what Glenn has said. Glenn's really, really, really good at always saying the right things. And I like that they got younger. This is a team that went in with an older roster last year. Things went poorly, and now they have a younger roster. Last year, their quarterback was the oldest player in the NFL. This year, it's Justin Fields, and though it's not a guarantee that Fields is going to work out for the Jets, we have a young team that it is easier to get excited for in a lot of ways because you look at the potential here.
Now, I understand why Jets fans would be tired of hearing the coach speak every single year, because it does absolutely make sense that every single year, the most hopeful time for Jets fans is right before the season starts, where we think it's going to be different and then it never ends up actually being different. And the coaches seem to say all the right things, but this time it really does feel different. Aaron Glenn, like you said, he handles himself completely differently. It is very obvious that Aaron Glenn is running the show here. Even though Darren Mougey has the title of GM, Aaron Glenn is picking up the players that he wants to coach, the players that are going to fit in his locker room personality-wise and going to fit his schemes on the field football-wise. I love what Aaron Glenn has been doing. His new move in silence and let your play speak for itself mentality is awesome. It's honestly, full disclosure, it's probably bad for media content creators like us, but for the success of the Jets, it's definitely the correct way to run your team as a head coach. Absolutely love every single thing that Aaron Glenn is doing. I was excited when he was signed, and I get more and more excited and feel more and more confident in the hire of Aaron Glenn every single time he takes the podium. Every time I see videos of conversations of him with absolutely everyone that he comes in contact with. The guy holds himself very well, holds himself to a high standard, and holds the people around him to a very high standard, which is something that Robert Saleh did not do. He didn't, let's just call it what it is, he didn't hold the players around him to a very high standard, and as a result, players did not hold themselves to a high standard and didn't play to a high standard. All that has changed. Aaron Glenn, it doesn't matter who you are, if you are not playing well, you're going to get benched. We are going to make sure that the same mistakes are not happening over and over and over again. And all the while, over the course of the whole season, Aaron Glenn is going to be there to say all the right things the entire way.
I 100% agree. And on top of that, it is May. we're still in May, so it's not like there's a ton of player media availability unless it's individual players who are usually the top end players, like going on podcasts or stuff like that. So we're yet to really see. And obviously, you go into the media, you say, like, grab Sauce Gardner, for instance, and especially because he plays defense. And you ask him, what do you think so far of being coached by Aaron Glenn? Obviously, he's going to say positive stuff. He's not going to go out there and be like, I actually think Aaron Glenn sucks. He's got no good ideas. Like, he's not going to do that regardless of if he thought that, but it's hard to imagine anyone thinking that of Aaron Glenn. But essentially, I think what we're going to see a lot from these players, and maybe I'll end up being wrong, but I have a feeling they're going to say, number one, it's a lot different from prior years. I think that's what Glenn is going for, too. He's like, this is not the same Jets team. Mistakes are not. It's not only that if you make a mistake, like, it's not going to fly as well. If you make a mistake, there's a chance that you're not going to instantly get a chance to go back out there and correct that. Aaron Glenn loves the competition that this team has going on internally right now. He's been adamant, no spot is safe. So to see this is an excellent sign. And I think guys have taken this very much to heart. I mean, you look at Glenn's comment saying, I give a lot of credit to the players. And I'm not just talking about today or yesterday, but throughout the whole phases, the amount of guys that have been here and the work they have put in. Yesterday, I think we had 100% participation. I think today, I have to look at it, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was 100% again. The only thing I do know is, man, we have a lot of guys here. All of our guys here, and that tells me one thing. The guys are buying in. They believe. They don't have to be here because it's not mandatory. And Matt, one of the big things is there, and I didn't pick Sauce Gardner with any thoughts of the contract extension stuff in mind, but Gardner, Wilson, both of them are due for massive, massive contract extensions. They're still playing football. At the end of the day, you could always jump up to catch a ball, plant wrong, severe leg injury. It can happen. All these guys are here.
Yeah, just like you said, people are saying it's just practice. It's not real games. People can't get hurt. We've seen John Wall get injured in the shower at his own home. These guys can get injured at any time. They want to get paid as soon as possible. What was that?
So did Rondo got injured in the shower. John Wall fell down his stairs.
Oh, I thought John Wall fell down the stairs and slipped in the shower.
Actually, he might have. I think you're right.
Yeah, pretty sure it was both. But that sucks. Actually, they need to. It sounds like they need to old person proof his home. But yeah, back to the Jets. I'm glad these guys are here. Even if they do get hurt, we still got to pay them. These guys are going to get monster contracts, but they deserve to get monster contracts. We have to remember it is a privilege to have players who are good enough to deserve monster contracts. I'm not going to be sitting up here and nickel and diming Sauce Gardner because he wasn't perfect in his third year. He did things that no other cornerback in the history of the league has ever done through his first 2 seasons in the NFL. I'm not going to look at his third season and be like, oh, you were only good. You weren't the best corner in football anymore. I'm not going to pay you what you're worth anymore. We better back up the Brinks truck for Sauce Gardner. Garrett Wilson hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet, but that doesn't mean he's not someone deserving of a ton of money. Not only just because of the wide receiver market where wide receivers get paid a lot of money. Garrett Wilson is obviously elite. We know that. We know Garrett Wilson can be a top 3 guy in yards. With a real quarterback, he can be top 3 in yards. With Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I don't know if he's going to be number 1, but he's definitely up there fighting. He definitely has all the talent in the world. And I'd love to see what Garrett Wilson can do with a quarterback who we've already seen him have success with in Justin Fields. Whether or not Justin Fields is the quarterback going forwards, I want to make sure that he is not a detriment to Justin Fields the way that our last quarterbacks have been.
Absolutely. And I think with Fields also, Fields is going to look Wilson's way every time. Wilson's happy about that. And Wilson was asked once about just like recently, Rich Samini came out with an article a few days ago, and it was mentioned that like the reunion is on. Fields and Wilson are back working together. And when Wilson was asked about it, he's like, I can't stop smiling. Last year, we saw Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers routinely bickering, with Garrett Wilson being correct. Not the NFL legend who has a Super Bowl attached to his name. We saw the guy entering his 3rd season being correct, saying, you should have been here. You were not here. Justin Fields is there. And I think it's important for the Jets that these guys are here because they saw what happened when the big name on their team, one of the biggest names in football history, and the NFL living legend on their team was off frolicking in Egypt for no real reason, because there wasn't a real reason. He was in Egypt because he wanted to be. There's not anything else far than that. He wanted to be in Egypt, so that's where he went. So to see the Jets kind of get this position feels very good, and it feels like these guys understand. We saw that disaster of last year. Guys like Wilson, Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Quincy Williams, they could all speak on that issue last year. This is not last year, and I think the Jets have done, not only Aaron Glenn, it's been led by Glenn, but I think the entire franchise from top to bottom, also with Woody as of right now not getting involved, I think they have done as good of a job as humanly possible to kind of say, this is completely different from the past.
So they couldn't, fix everything in 1 year. The Jets haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. I understand. Like I said before, I gotta circle back. I know people are unhappy with the fact that we hear the same stuff every year from every single coach, but that's really all the coach can do at this stage of the offseason. Like, there's not a whole lot. People are waiting for wins from the New York Jets, and they're saying, I'm sick of hearing all the right things in the offseason. Show me something different on the field, which is a very fair statement to say, but we can't stay too strongly on that topic if he hasn't even had an opportunity to coach a game yet. He's not going to be able to show you on the field until September. So we got to support him as much as we can right now before we get there. And he has given me all the reasons in the world to show full support to Aaron Glenn. Chris, specifically me on this channel, but pretty much both of us, if there's a player on the New York Jets who's not good or not playing well, we're not going to just hype him up just because he's on the Jets. I'm going to tell you, this guy isn't good. So we get tons of hate for it, but I don't care. So believe me when I say Aaron Glenn is doing everything right. I'm not just saying that just because I want to believe it. He's doing the right thing. I want to hope something's going to be different. Hoping does absolutely nothing. Aaron Glenn is doing the right things to make a difference. Now we're just hoping Woody Johnson stays out of the way.
Absolutely. And we're hoping as you guys subscribe to Jets Digest. So make sure to do that. Like this video. Turn on post notifications. Have a great day. And go Jets.